Today's video is brought to us by the USCCA. The United States Concealed Carry Association has a ton of education and training on their website for members, and when you choose to become a member, you get a huge benefit of self-defense liability coverage for, God forbid, when you need to take the skills that you can learn and develop with their training and education. You might have to employ them to protect yourself or others. The USCCA will be there to protect you, and you can just do that by becoming a member. It's what I use for myself and my family and have for years. And I think you might want to check out that link down below. If you're a gun owner, check it out. It might be the most important link you ever click. It's uscca.com/GNG. And thanks to the USCCA for being a friend of the family as well as the channel. All right, guys and gals, we have some movement on a big case that the Supreme Court kicked back down to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. And we're talking about Duncan v. Bonta, which was California's magazine ban case. And that case was challenging three issues. The first issue was whether a blanket, retrospective, and confiscatory law prohibiting ordinary law-abiding citizens from possessing magazines in common use violates the Second Amendment. The second issue was whether a law dispossessing citizens without compensation of property that was lawfully acquired and long possessed without incident violates the Takings Clause. And three, whether the two-step approach that the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit and other lower courts applied to the Second Amendment challenges is consistent with the Constitution and the Supreme Court's precedent. Well, we already know that in the Supreme Court's case, the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin, Judge Clarence Thomas told the country that the two-step process, which the Ninth Circuit used in this case, is unconstitutional. They then granted certiorari to this case, saying we're taking it up. They vacated the Ninth Circuit's ruling, saying that this ban is constitutional, and they remanded it right back to the Ninth, saying you need to re-decide this case based off of what we just said in Bruin, because what you did was unconstitutional. So the Ninth Circuit, doing what they always do, they're going to say, how can we make this last as long as possible? Because they could have immediately that day said, all right, this is unconstitutional, and freedom would be injected into California with magazines and all that stuff. But we know it hasn't been. So what they did was they kicked it all the way back to the district level, and that now went back to Judge Roger T. Benitez. Roger T. Benitez has already said that this is unconstitutional, California's ban. And when he decided this in 2019, he used text, history, and tradition. The same text, history, and tradition that the Supreme Court just validated. So we know what Judge Benitez is going to do. And this document that I'm putting on the screen right now is what he filed yesterday in his court. He said, on June 29th, 2017, this court preliminary enjoined enforcement of California Penal Code 32310, C Charlie and D Delta, requiring persons to dispossess themselves of magazines able to hold more than 10 rounds lawfully acquired and possessed. The preliminary injunction was affirmed on appeal. On March 29, 2019, on summary judgment, this court concluded that California Penal Code 32310 is unconstitutional. On April 4th of 2019, this court made the preliminary injunction on subsections C Charlie and D Delta permanent, but stayed, pending appeal, the injunction of 32310 A and B. This court was again affirmed on appeal. The Ninth Circuit granted rehearing en banc, vacated its opinion, and entered an opinion reversing the judgment of this court. In other words, the Ninth Circuit upheld California's ban. The United States Supreme Court granted certiorari and vacated the opinion of the Ninth Circuit and remanded for further consideration. The Ninth Circuit now remands this case to this court for further proceedings in light of New York State Rifle and Pistol Association, Inc. versus Bruin, and the mandate has issued. This court hereby spreads the mandate upon the minutes of this court. The defendant shall file any additional briefing that is necessary to decide this case in light of Bruin within 45 days of this order. Plaintiffs shall file any responsive briefing within 21 days thereafter. This court will then decide the case on the briefs and the prior record, or schedule additional hearings. The previously entered preliminary injunction enjoining enforcement of California Penal Code 32310 Charlie and Delta for magazines able to hold more than 10 rounds shall remain in effect for all those who previously acquired and possessed magazines legally, including those persons and business entities who acquired magazines between March 29, 2019 and April 5, 2019, pending further order of this court. Dated September 26, 2022, Judge Roger T. Benitez, United States District Judge. So, we already know that Judge Benitez has already said this is an unconstitutional ban, and he made his ruling based off text, history, and tradition, which is the requirement by the Supreme Court post-Bruin. So he's giving California 45 days to file their response in light of Bruin, and he's also giving the Duncan party, Virginia Duncan, and the CRPA, the California Rifle and Pistol Association, they have an additional 21 days should they need it. Assuming both groups take all of their allotted time, then all filings need to be submitted before December 1st, 2022, at which time Judge Benitez, I am assuming, will decide this very quickly, because he already has. Now, I don't think that CRPA will take 21 days. Maybe the DOJ in California will take their 45 days just to delay this, delay the inevitable. But inevitably, I get questions on what happens here or there or everywhere. So I'm going to tell you that when this is decided, Judge Benitez is going to say it's unconstitutional still. And then California will probably appeal to a 3-judge panel in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. And that 3-judge panel will probably still say, yeah, it's unconstitutional, especially in light of Bruin. At which time, California, who doesn't like to take an L for gun rights, will probably appeal it again to the Ninth Circuit. And that's where the show is going to happen. The Ninth Circuit will either affirm that, yes, this is unconstitutional in light of Bruin, or make up some kind of cockamamie bullshit saying that this ban is constitutional, at which time they'll get slacked down. So this is going to take some time. This is why the Ninth Circuit kicked it all the way back down to Judge Benitez to start it all over again. But we have the Supreme Court on our side on this one, and it is inevitable what is going to happen. So we'll see if the justices do the right thing after Judge Benitez does what he's going to do in December. But the big thing is Californians who have these magazines, you get to have them, you get to keep them. California can't enforce any of their craziness upon you. Judge Benitez has again said that you all can have these items. They are protected under the Second Amendment. So that is good. It's going to move forward quickly, I think, once we hit December and all these filings are submitted. If you want to stay in the know, subscribe to the channel. That's where I'll let you know. I put out news every single day, oftentimes multiple times a day. And if you want to be made aware by YouTube, hopefully, when I put out new content and or go live, then hit that bell icon and make sure it's on all notifications. Also, I would love to hit a goal that I set for the end of this year, which is 600,000 subscribers. It's going to be tough, and I'm going to need your help to do it. So if you're one of those many people, there's like 30% who watch the videos and are not subscribed, please join this growing freedom family and help me reach that goal. And why do I want that goal? I want to prove to YouTube that truth, the Second Amendment truth, the Second Amendment news is viable. People want to know it, and they can't stop the signal. And I need your help to do that. Till we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, and carry a gun to keep you, your friends, your family, your community safe. Because that's what it was for, and it doesn't matter how many times they try to restrict it. It ain't going anywhere. I'll see you on the next one, y'all. Take care.